Welcome back, guys. I'm here with Anthony Bataki. What city are we in?
Prosper, Texas.
Prosper, Texas. Dallas, Texas area. Suburb of Dallas, Texas. We're here today to talk about deductibles, the big nasty D word. It's a nasty word in Texas, isn't it?
It's unbelievably nasty.
Why is it such a political nasty? I mean, contractors are beating each other over the heads. You got state statutes involved. You got an insurance fraud. I don't know. Thing here you're giving to your customers. What's going on here in Texas that makes it so much more hypersensitive than anywhere else in the country?
I'm going to go probably with the valuation of deductible.
There you go.
The highest percentage deductible probably in the state is in the DFW area, and then pretty much Texas.
Is it 1%? Is it 1%?
Everyone has 1%, 2%. Lowest deductible even offered by any insurance company right now is $2,000, but still.
So if I have a $1 million home, 1% is $10,000.
Easy all day.
And so if my roof on $1 million home is $30,000,
you're paying 20 of that out of pocket. I mean, the homeowner
paying 10 of that out of pocket. That's a big chunk. And so what we got going on here with the land of 10,000 contractors in one city is a lot of guys doing what? Offering to pay it or
Well, the problem is that everybody's in the roofing business now, as you know. It's not a difficult business to get into, especially in the state of Texas with absolutely next to zero regulation. So these people come in and establish themselves as a contractor, most without even close to having the adequate tools to operate as a business. And their biggest sales pitch is nothing out of pocket to the consumer.
So I can just throw some stickers on my truck and I'm a roofer.
They're a roofer.
Can I build a skyscraper too?
No.
I need a license for that. So tell me about this insurance fraud thing, because there's some heat. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys talk about it on a page in the industry. Some say it's illegal. There's some guys saying, no, actually, it's technically not ethical, but it's not illegal. It's not enforced. What is the deal on this?
State law does say that paying a deductible is illegal, because basically what a contractor has to do is invoice the insurance company for monies they're not going to collect. Now, let's say a homeowner gets a check for, let's say, $20,000, and they have a $5,000 deductible, but they don't have any depreciation on their claim, and they get all $15,000 up front. That's typically on a one-year-old product.
Right.
They would be paid the majority of their monies up front. Now, they're welcome to go out and shop and see if they can get
I'm going to find it down for $15,000. And not even say it's an
Yeah.
insurance claim.
But the average claim, a home could be 5, 10, 15 years old. They're going to depreciate up to a maximum of 50%.
Right.
With a 50% depreciation.
A lot of times half down and half on the back end, right.
So that contractor, in order to get that depreciation, as we all know, is going to have to invoice for that depreciation. Well, with the intent of invoicing without collecting from the homeowner the amount you've invoiced the insurance company, that's where the fraud's committed.
Okay.
You're telling the insurance company you're going to charge $20,000, yet you only collect $15,000. It's outright insurance.
And when the deductibles are that high, especially when we're in certain places where people might not have an extra 10 grand, you're naturally going to have situations where people try to cut deals.
Absolutely.
You cut deals at the kitchen table. You probably got customers that actually force contractors to cut a deal to get the job.
It's all day long. They're very savvy down here in Texas. They understand, and the majority of the contractors absolutely will cut a deal with the homeowner with the deductible. And unfortunately, it's more than not. So there's very few contractors left that do operate completely.
Has anybody actually gone to jail, been fined, that you know of in the state of Texas for infracting on this?
I've heard of no one actually being convicted. I do know that there's several companies under investigation. There are some that charges are looking to be pressed, but nothing that I have concrete yet. But there are so many articles through the Dallas Morning News that is distributed telling everybody that the procedure and the manner that these contractors are waiving deductibles is completely insurance fraud. So the law is there. The backup in literature is there from reputable resources such as the Dallas Morning News, and I think a lot of people have seen that video with the contractor on the roof advertising not to pay the deductible, calling the contractors that will collect the deductible and charge the homeowner were unethical.
I wonder how many phone calls he got.
He probably did pretty well for a couple of days until it was exposed what he was doing.
So there are situations where, and look, I was a sales guy knocking doors back in '99. Honestly, when this kind of stuff, there wasn't even state statutes on this kind of stuff back then. Certainly not enforced.
Not enforced.
Yeah, this is before the whole PA accusations came out and all this stuff. But I remember sitting at those kitchen tables, and I'd look through a contract, kind of like, let's take a look at this one here. And look, some homeowners like, this is actually, that's a nasty one. That's 30 G's on 100,000. That's one where a customer might say, hey, I need to swing a deal. But let's look at this.
That's one where I had to walk away from.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in a minute. Let's talk about this digestible. I call it the digestible deductible. So we got 146 grand, actually 150 grand contract price. We have, oh, excuse me, after overhead and profit. Nice job there, T. We got a $180,000 contract price and an $8,000 deductible. That's a great deductible program in Texas, ain't it?
Not a problem at all for that homeowner.
Yeah, is that commercial now?
No, it's residential.
It is residential, so $8,000. So let's just pretend, and I know I've been in situations with people, even the ones that got money, where they want to cut a deal. Let's say this person does not want to, look, I spent a lot of time getting this job, it's $180,000, and that homeowner says, look, for whatever reason, I'm not paying that deductible. Is there any other way besides just cutting it off and not charging it that we could help this homeowner out?
The homeowner can elect to take portions of the claim, portions of the damaged property that has been allotted an amount for by the insurer.
The actual cash value.
Yeah, and not repair that property. There's nothing illegal or
Right.
nothing unethical about that.
And that's what I used to do is I'd say, look, the old damaged, aluminum shed out back, $1,500. Could they go pick it up at Menards? Do I want to pick it up at Menards? Not really. The $1,500, they got full ACV because it's an old repair shed or whatever. Stuff like that, if you're not contracting that job, you could actually grab that ACV portion, deduct that from your contract price. In essence, that could wash the deductible out, correct?
You can, and believe it or not, that's a very common practice, and it's not frowned upon by anyone.
It's totally legal. It's totally legit.
The only recourse on that would be, and it's very viable that this would happen, is that the next year, homeowner has same insurance.
They're not buying a shed again.
They're not buying a shed again.
So you got to live with that shed.
You got to live with that shed. So you kind of dig yourself into a deeper hole at that point. But there is an option there if you're in a situation where potentially you're going to lose a contract. The insured definitely does not want to pay your deductible. There is that option.
But Mrs. Smith with the 3 hungry kids inside that doesn't have $1,500 or $5,000 or whatever it is, she might live with the dented shed forever in order to get her roof on, correct?
Definitely.
So let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers here on this particular claim. Just to let you guys know, I call this the homeowner slush fund. We obviously want to do the roof. That's the most profitable trade, right? We actually want to do everything on this claim.
Absolutely.
But if we're in a situation where that property owner says, look, under no circumstances am I capable of paying that $8,871 deductible, then I would, before I turn and walk away from the job, I'd do one mathematical check. I'm going to look through at all the non-roofing trades that have ACV monies on them, and I'm going to add all that money up, not related to the roof, and then start to see what does that property owner really want to do out of those trades, what do they not want to do, to try to see if we can basically wash out that deductible, that $8,000 deductible. So if we look at this claim here.
There's plenty in that claim.
Yeah, if you want to add these up real quick, I'll give you the aggregate numbers. The non-roofing trades, I'm just going to use the ACV money, so we're not talking about the RCV because we know we're not going to invoice for the stuff we didn't do. So we got a bedroom here, interior paint, we got $758.61. Okay. There's our roof stuff. I'm not messing with my roof money, man. I'm not messing with my roof money. We got some gutters and some stained concrete. So we got 856.58. We got a downspout over here all by itself at 177.18. Again, I'm only adding the ACV amounts. We got 1,340.86. Some more downspouts and stucco repair. We got 1,785.62. Some more paint and a low E window glass. We got a nice chunk of money for the gutters here. Did you do that, man?
I always do.
6,186.57 for gutters. Must be some nice gutters on there, 6-inch. Basketball court tiles. Woo. $801. Again, just adding the non-roofing trades up, guys. We call them miscellaneous. 758.61. This is for content manipulation. Looks like an interior bedroom and some paint on the ceiling. There's our roof money, man. We don't want to mess with our roof money. Front elevation downspouts got 1337.71. Another downspout chunk over there in the left elevation, 233.13. And then we got some more downspouts and stucco patch for 1795.14. Another window and paint window opening over here for 2,366.97. Some more gutters. Jesus, Tony, you got a lot of gutters on here. 7,937.28. Some more basketball court tiles. The hail damaged the court tiles?
Softball size hail.
Wow.
Big stuff, my friend.
2047.80.
2047?
Yeah, 2047.80. We got another patch of paint here for 267.11. And last but not least, we have some, your labor minimums. All these are applied to non-roof items. AC, drywall, 601.65.
My calculator stopped adding up at 28,832.20.
Close enough.
Yeah.
So there's what I call our non-roof miscellaneous trades money. Let's just go ahead and write that down. And guys, I used to do this before I met with a property owner because I wanted to have an idea in my head what the non-roof money was, the ACV allowance money, that they may choose to use that money to upgrade the roof, offset the deductible, maybe use that money towards whatever they want. Whatever they don't contract, they're going to keep.
I do have some homeowners that had taken, let's say, stamped concrete pool deck refinishing, $9,500. Insurance paid for it, pretty much new all up front. It covered their deductible, but they decided to go ahead and spend that on upgrading to a metal roof from that.
And still pay their deductible.
Yeah, pay their deductible.
Yeah. And guys, people, look, if you can get that deductible paid, absolutely, that's what should be done. But there are situations out there, and you all know what I'm talking about, competitive and homeowners that literally don't have $8,000 in their pocket. In this situation, the non-roof ACV money for miscellaneous trades is $28,382, which more than covers the $8,871 deductible, and they could probably still do some of those trades. It's up to you when you sit down with that property and figure out, look, I'm absolutely here to do the roof. That's the most important trade in the house. That's protecting your investment. Out of all these other miscellaneous trades, you have a slush fund here at $28,382. What's important to you out of that to do that we need to do? They would say, well, I need to do those 2 windows. Absolutely. Anthony, I need to do the gutters. The other stuff I don't care about. And then you figure out in math, in essence, you've taken care of the property owner, you've consummated your contract, got the job, and you help them out on a deductible issue in a legitimate way. But that, guys, that's the only legitimate way to wipe out that deductible that I know of.
That's it.
And it's by the math. You don't even have to bring the nasty D word up. Now, I know in Tony's case, he doesn't even like to do that.
No, I know. In fact, this homeowner's already committed to paying his deductible.
So they're doing all the work on the project.
Absolutely. And this is just the first estimate from the insurance, so we're progressing.
I think 70 to 80% of the people out there want to do all the work and make sure it's all done. A lot of times the mortgage company's on the check, cases.
That's a big hang-up, too.
Where they inspect and they make sure all the work's done. I'm talking about that small sliver where a homeowner really needs some help. And where they really might not care about that aluminum shed out back or some damage on a couple dings on the gutters, and in which case they can legitimately use that ACV money.
Unfortunately, a lot of those other structures, non-dwelling items, the mortgage company is not going to be too concerned about. Pool equipment, pool deck, fence, things of those.
Barbecue grill.
Those are personal
3 dents of barbecue grill, right?
Those things. I mean, there's always something that can be.
Yeah.
When we're talking about $5,000, you're still on a $20,000 claim. You're still trying to offset a lot, and it's not possible in all cases.
What's worse is $5,000 on a $10,000 roof. That's tough to do, especially if you got one trade on the job. Yeah. Now, in this one here, and this is a great case in point, you got mainly a roof. There are no miscellaneous trades. We got a straight $30,000 deductible on a $103,000. Is it a tile roof?
Yes, tile, concrete.
Wow, that's a monster. In this one, you actually walked away from the job. Yep. Is that correct?
Walked away.
Because the lady said what to you after you got it approved, signed, bought?
Yeah, I had a contract. Everything was put in place. Got the insurance company to approve X amount of dollars, and she did not want to pay her deductible. And I even offered to, sell her as a cash job and try to get as close as I can. She still had to come out of pocket around $20,000, but we could still put a roof on. It's what I could do to help, but there's still depreciation on the table with the insurer that I just would not be entitled to. So without her,
too bad. That's a great job. That's a Chubb job too.
Yeah.
Now, I notice here she got a $62,000 payment up front. And this goes back to an earlier course we did, guys. Sometimes money changes people. You get those contingency agreements signed, the old handshake. Hey, no matter what, man, you got my business. As soon as they get that $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 check, in this case, this lady got a $62,000 check. She's only got $10,000 back at depreciation. The old wheels start turning in her heads. And all of a sudden, that $30,000 deductible, they start getting bids, and you got the competitive factor out here. She certainly probably found someone to put that roof on.
Yeah.
Possibly even for less what's there. Maybe going back to a less quality roofing system. But you actually walked away from it instead of wheeling and dealing. He walked away from the job. And in some situations, there just isn't any extra money to help somebody out. This is a case in point. It's one trade. It's a $100,000 roof, and there's a $30,000 deductible. There ain't no wiggle room on that, is there?
Not $30,000.
No.
No, not any matter.
All right, guys. So we gave you one hint how you can help a homeowner out with their deductible in a legitimate way. But at the end of the day, the right thing to do is the customer to pay the deductible and the contractor to collect it.
Absolutely. The power of the sale is getting a homeowner committed and obligated to pay their deductible. There's no sense in giving anything away in this industry. If the contractors start putting their foot forward, selling the homeowner, even upsell them, get them to pay some additional funds for higher profile rigs, additional events, whatever is necessary. But be powerful. Don't give it away. Sell. And if you look at the grand scheme of things for the consumer, if they're paying a $5,000 deductible on a $20,000 roof, I still think it's a great deal, especially if the roof's 10 or 15 years old.
There you go, guys. See you soon.